So I'm coming day and night. I mean, it's terrific, right?
Talking about signatures and stuff, Matt Damon and all the other A-list celebrities in Hollywood and places like that, they obviously get hounded by professional signature people that try and get their signature on about 100 different things and then sell them on eBay. So Matt Damon, being a very young actor at the time, signed a few things, and he asked, what am I worth? What could you get for this? He went, it's probably a couple of, I'd get $500 for this. And he was thinking, so you're getting paid for my signature. Yeah. So him and who's his wingman? That's the one. Yep. They flooded the market. They would sign anything. If it was Frosty's packets, they'll sign it. If it was baseball bats, they'll sign it. They would sign anything to flood the market. So the more an actor signs something, the less it'll be worth.
Because it's not exclusive. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
good idea.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people are doing that now.
Well, it must be a tricky area for these guys because they want to help out and do stuff for the fans. At the same time, they don't want to be taken for a mug. I mean, Ringo Starr doesn't sign anything anymore for the same reasons. I can't remember. I had this conversation with someone the other day. I mean, my signature is obviously worth about a bob or two. I don't think I'll be going out and signing about that. I'm joking. My signature's worth nothing.
Well, you say that though. You've got your own book out, so
Yeah, people literally ask me not to sign it. That's how exclusive it is.
You say that when you were in America, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere, you had someone drive a long way to go sign it.
I did. Well, I was in America and I just put the word out. I said, is anyone about? Because Anastasia was getting her nails done. I had an hour to kill. And someone popped up on Instagram, goes, I'm just a couple of blocks down. I said, all right, let's do it. Let's rock. And
so there we go then. So don't be modest.
Well, the thing is, I didn't sign it. I just attached one of my pubes. So this will actually help you in the future because you can use this, get the DNA, do kind of like a Jurassic Park version of me.
Nice.
Moving swiftly on. We're at number 12 on the list. We got Stay Hungry, and that is rated at 67%. Stay Hungry. I haven't seen it, but I looked at the IMDb of this. Wow, you got some heavy hitters in there, like Bob Raffleson. He did 5 Easy Pieces. Jeff Bridges is in this. Sally Field. Talking about the same movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
you seen Stay Hungry?
Not for a very, very long time. Not for a very, very long time. I have seen it. Same as some of the old, Hercules in New York, for example. Once you've watched it, you think, oh yeah, I've ticked that box. I'll move on. So with these very early stuff of the early to mid 70s, yeah, it was good for his day.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it's above The Running Man. Must be pretty good.
Which is Well, there you go.
Yeah. So we got number 11, Red Heat, at 67% with the critics. I did pull up some information from my own blog because I interviewed Dan Moore. I told you that, right? Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 times I must have done. So I'll just read a little snippet out because I always found the watch scene to be really interesting when he switches the watch around. So the joke is at the end that he gives, Arnold Schwarzenegger gives Jim Belushi his really cruddy Soviet wristwatch because he spies how good Jim Belushi's watch is and says it's a custom in my country that we swap watches, after parting and being good friends. And I thought, now, is that a thing? Is that a tradition in Russia? Apparently not. But just to read a little bit about the watch itself, from the property master, because Dan Moore, the costume designer, had to get hold of his mate who was the property master at the time, who handles all the watches. He says, alas, he cannot shed too much light on the issue. Arnold chose to wear his own watch in the movie, which was a very expensive one. Rick, who's a property master, just bought a couple more that seemed like decent matches in case of emergency, and he can't remember anything about them now. But it's fascinating that Arnie used his own one that apparently was worth quite a bit of money, but the gag is that it's worth nothing. It looks like it's worth nothing, and he has to change it. So, semi-interesting, but that's, there you go. But there's a much more interesting story that we have about Red Heat, isn't there, Ross?
There is.
Okay, all right. For the YouTube, can we switch and have a quick look at what you might have in the background associated with Red Heat? Yeah.
Stand by, caller. All right.
There she is.
That is Arnold Schwarzenegger's full, without minus the tie, the Gumby suit. One of
Nice.
the Gumby suit. So
Look
yeah,
at
I'm
that.
now luckily and proud to own one of the costumes from Red Heat. So
Because he
very,
looks
very
like
lucky.
Gumby. That's the reference. That's why
That's
it's
the
called
running
the
joke.
Gumby suits
Yeah.
that Jim Belushi calls. So it's a 3-button suit. I think it's the color teal.
Correct.
That was described right. Are there any labels inside? The makers, the tailors?
No, I scouted it from head to toe because
Mm.
I know, like you say, there should be a label or anything like that, but there's nothing in there. So I'm
Right.
assuming it was custom made for the sheer size of him.
That is pretty cool. So that was an auction piece, or was that something that you bought
Yes.
retrospectively?
No, so that was one of the prop store auction last in London. So luckily enough, that was the only one I wanted. So because that's one of my favourite films. The previous auction that it had in LA was the Arnold's pistol. But obviously with the UK laws, we're not allowed to have firearms over here. And I can imagine customs having a hissy fit if you try to import a gun into the country, stunt or not.
Right.
So I was obviously a bit gutted that I didn't get it. I think a month later, there was another auction in California. There was a few other pieces from Red Heat, like a script and a production sheet, which obviously tells you where it tells the actors where to be, what's the lighting going to be, what's the music of the day, what the scene's going to be, what time to be arriving on set. And luckily enough, I got that, which was quite cool. And it also was a clapperboard as well from Red Heat as well. But I was outbilled on that. I was gutted.
Did you try on the suit?
Yes, I try them on. I always try them on. I'm lucky that my dad was an ex-bodybuilder, so I always get him to try it on first. And obviously, he was the one that got me into Arnie to start with. And it drowned me and him massively.
Wow.
And Arnie slimmed down for the role of Red Heat. And this is obviously this is 88 Red Heat. Yeah. So it was still a big guy back then. But yeah, Jim Belushi had to fatten up, and Arnold had to slim down because obviously Jim Belushi being a Chicago cop, the stereotypical donut eating policeman, and Arnold obviously had to slim down for it because obviously he was a Russian cop on duty. He wasn't this massive bodybuilder.
That's interesting.
So it drowned me. So who knows what a Bates leather jacket from Terminator 1, for example, how big that could ever be.
Well, it weighs all of 40 pounds. That's going to be even if it fits, it's going to take its toll on you.
Exactly. He was a very big man back in the day. Very big man.
It is interesting how I've read elsewhere he's slimmed down for other roles. It's weird because he looks so ripped anyway. You think, well, surely anyone normal like us dudes, to get into that kind of nick would have to spend 6 years in the gym, but he has to slim down and not work out. I mean, what was it? Was it Predator he had to slim down for? I think
he slimmed down on Predator by accident because obviously he got food poisoning. But I think you're talking about Conan the Barbarian, the first one. He had to slim down ever so slightly for that one.
Right.
So he was too muscular. And then I think when he went for Conan the Destroyer, he then went back to competing at bodybuilding, and that's where he won his last Mr. Universe. And there's a lot of controversy about that competition because everyone think he won because of his name than what he did actually on stage. But hey, it's another trophy in the cabinet for him.
Well, mate, that's a trophy in the cabinet for you. Congrats. That is a beautiful suit. And so there's only one off, you say, but we spoke of Mike.
There is same as any prop or costume. There's going to be multiples of that. Right. So unless you can screen match it specifically by a thread or blood stains or away the buttons, buttons on the suit, because obviously most of these are all custom made for the actor or actress. So you can sort of tell by just the stitching where you can see it in the film. I've watched Red Heat 100 times. I can't find this one, but I just have to keep looking. There's just not enough close-up shots of the suit to me figure it out. But I am lucky to have one that is screen matched from another film, but not. I haven't screen matched this one from Red Heat yet, but it's definitely from production.
Right. Okay. They can't tell you that at the auction. They don't have the intel at the auction.
They have to be very, unless it's specifically screen match, it's production. It's from the production of, to be safe.
Hey, just get some photos of it. I'll have a word with the costume designer, and we'll see if we can figure it out. We'll take that offline. All right, number 10. We're only at number 10. We've only done 7. We might even have to come back for part 3, Ross, if you're game.
I'm game.
Jesus.
This might be the longest one you've podcasted.
I know. This is going to be longer than Lord of the Rings. Okay, The Expendables 2 at 67%. Let me pull up a little bit of nuggets from IMDb about the style. Oh, the fountain pen. The fountain pen that Barney Ross pulls out to write on the napkin is a Montegrappa Chaos limited edition pen that Sylvester Stallone, a longtime Montegrappa aficionado, helped design. It includes a skull and other symbols inspired by The Expendables 2010. So you can get something from Prop Store about $1,500. It looks like a bulletproof vest that Terry Crews wore, if you're into that. Thoughts on Expendables 2, Ross?
Loved it, absolutely loved it. That's my favorite one out of the franchise so far. Obviously, you're bringing Van Damme in, you're bringing Chuck Norris in. You've got Stallone, Arnie, and Bruce Willis are in that famous fight scene in the airport in Bulgaria. Yeah. They're shooting through the glass, and all hell breaks loose. So that one's my favourite by far. It's a really, really good film. And like you say, there is stuff still available out there in the ether. Uh-huh. You get I've seen bulletproof vests are available. A lot of guns, a lot of machine guns, pistols are still available from the franchise as well. So there's definitely a few pieces out on the market if you want something from the franchise or from that film specifically.
These guns, though, must be a bit sensitive, if that's a word, when you have to go in and go, I just want to collect the guns from the films, whether they're dummy guns, real guns. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's the same as anything, though. If you're a sword collector or a stamp collector, there's always someone to collect something.
But there'll be a news article out there one day that some kid was killed with Arnold Schwarzenegger's gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's in the UK, yes, I can understand that. Or in some parts of Europe, there are obviously a very strict gun control laws. But in North America, maybe not Canada, but in North America, obviously, the world's your oyster as long as you're a US citizen and tick all the right boxes. So you can buy this stuff. So some of it is non-firing, some of it's obviously stunt. But if it looks realistic, and if you're on the street with it, you're going to take. If you see it on the street, you're going to think it's a real gun. So that's why they put all these procedures in. So otherwise, I'd have an armory. I'd love to, have loads of weapons, of guns and stuff. I've only got one weapon that's legit. That's from a razor, but there's no guns.
Is that the Bill Duke razor? Oh no, sorry, that's from Eraser. Eraser, not the razor.
So I've got this bad boy. So it's an incomplete EM railgun from 1996 Eraser. Luckily enough, in the world, these don't exist, so I can get away with this. Right, if obviously it looked a bit more up to date and used in the armed forces, then I can understand why you'd have to pay. You'd have to have a license for it.
You'd still have to explain that away at Heathrow, don't you? You'd be like going through customs. It's like, hey, it's just a regular futuristic looking prop.
I got it from the States, so I had to come through customs.
Ah, right. So what did you do? Do you have to phone ahead and say, I'm bringing back on?
No. They sent it. I paid for it. Job done. There was no.
Oh, I see. You didn't take it personally. You just had it shipped.
No. Oh God, no. No. It was fine. It was just sent through the post. No problems at all, and they didn't question it, which was handy.
Sweet, Ross. I've enjoyed this just like I did the other time. I could have you back, and we'll just carry on going. He'll probably come out with another film by the time we're done with this list.
You say The Lord of the Rings was a long while. That was only 3 movies. How many's Arnold's done?
Well, I mean, so what did we start the list at? Yeah, I mean, well, good question. I think we've done about 50 odd at least, right?
Exactly. He's had a massive career, so it takes a lot of time to cover it all.
It does. I feel like we've done a bit more, or I have, in terms of figuring out some costumes and props this time around. Last time around, I think I was just fawning and wanting to talk about Arnie because we all love him and we want to talk about him. This time I've actually done a modicum of research on the subject. But Ross, I haven't done as much as you have over your life. Congrats, pal, once again. Give your Instagram a shout out where people can find you, please.
Right, so I'm only on Instagram because there's too many adverts on Facebook. The Instagram account is at Schwarzenegger_film_props. And it is literally everywhere you can find Arnold props or Arnie memorabilia around the ether. So if you want, I cover all the auctions in the States and in the UK and some of Europe. So if it's on the market, you'll find it on my page. But you need to follow and you need to hit your notification buttons, because when I post it, it sells quickly. So some of them are hanging around, but some of them, when they get posted, they go within an hour, couple of hours, and you don't want to miss out, because like you say, there's a few pieces that are only one of one, or Arnie's specifically worn it. So if you want it, you're going to want to buy it, and you'll be gutted if you miss out by a few minutes or a few hours.
But even if you're not into buying the props, you'll still have a good time on your page. I mean, today was the Sarah Connor clinging to the fence from Terminator 2, where she has the vision of the nuclear war and she gets blasted out. And they did the Stan Winston kind of rubbery or animatronics. Is that the way you call it?
Yes, it has a physical thing. So, but no, I'm quite lucky because I've got a few friends in the Stan Winston studios and a few friends around that have worked with Arnold that feed me a few bits and pieces. So every Monday I'll do an Arnie movie Magic Monday. So I'll go behind the scenes of a specific Arnie film, and I'll try and post a clip with the film clip, so you can see some of how they make these films. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It really is. And it's something, like I say, people don't even see half this stuff. So yeah, it's just nice to dive behind the scenes.
Exactly. I dig it, man. And plus, these are, some of them are really old school special effects. I mean, I was reading up on like Total Recall today, how that was probably the last big action blockbuster that worked with miniatures. I mean, there's some CGI going on it as well, but Arnie doing all of his stuff back then, there was a lot that had to be physically done because the technology wasn't quite there yet to like it would be today. Like all of that stuff would just be computer generated. There wouldn't have to be any kind of Stan Winston stuff doing that.
I think the Terminator 2 was the last film that had the perfect connection between the two, that had the physical and the special effects and the CGI. And I think that's why everyone loves it, and everyone still watching it now or brand new to the film watch it and go, wow, that could have been made today. Because it's a perfect blend of the two together, where nowadays it's more CGI because it's cost effective. Where back in the day they didn't have the technology back then, so they had to build this stuff and make this stuff and have things squirting out with blood, mechanically, and the pyrotechnics, they had to do it. But like I say, nowadays it's more cost effective just to put a green screen behind you and press play and get the actors to dance in front of it.
It looks, I gotta say, I think we're just spoiled, because I'll see things that are on the telly, like an advert will be like for something that's happening and it's all kind of explosions and AK-57s going off, and then at the end it will go, coming now on PlayStation or something. I'm like, oh fuck, that's for a computer game. Okay, well that makes sense because it's all just CGI anyway. But I was thinking I was about to go to the cinema and watch that, but no, it's just happening on the Xbox. So kind of swung too much the other way. I miss the stunts where someone's hanging on to the chandelier and dropping 100 feet into the sea. Swide and Adventure reference for you. But we'll rejoin this nostalgic trip down memory lane. And obscure costume references and all that good gubbins next time I have you on. But for now, thanks for taking the time out. Ross Cooper, everybody. Take care, pal. Speak to you soon.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much, mate.